Planning a trip into Serbia for a vacation is a pretty straightforward, cost objective situation. However, if you are actually looking to move to Serbia, there are a lot of costs that you are going to incur when you decide to move into Serbia. And today we're going to talk about the 7 hidden costs of moving to Serbia and living here. So let's get into this right now. So in recent months, we have had a lot of people that have reached out to us either through YouTube, through our website, through various other platforms. And they said, hey, listen, we're looking to move to Serbia and we are not sure what it's going to cost. Can you kind of give us a general idea of what it's going to incur to get temporary residency, to start a business, closing costs on a property, purchasing a vehicle? What kind of safety do you have to do when it comes to purchasing a vehicle? What kind of registration fees are we looking at? So many other things. And that's something that we do here at Relocation Serbia is we help clients from all over the world that are looking to come into Serbia. Most of them are visa-free travelers, all right? I just wanted to clarify that because we get bombarded consistently by people asking for help with their visas. And that's not something that we actually do, is help people with their visas. We have a corporate side that helps businesses obtain visas for workers, but we don't find work for you. We don't help you with a tourist visa. We don't do or send out invitation letters. That's not our business. And so when we help people all over the world, typically it's people that do not require a visa. Now, there are some scenarios that we will help them in. However, for majority of our business is dealing with people with visa-free travel. And then, or if they're in Serbia with a current visa, then we can also accommodate in that sense as well. Now, when it comes to the cost, we're going to get into number 1 is going to be your residency cost. So when you come into Serbia and you're looking to apply for temporary residency, you're going to have fees that are incurred with that. You're going to have to pay your taxes for the year as a temporary resident. You're going to have to pay taxes as well for your biometric card. You're going to have to pay potentially for a visa as well. You're also going to incur health insurance costs. And what we do here at Relocation Serbia to streamline all these costs that we're going to go through, including the residency costs, is when we give you pricing as a package for whatever you're deciding to do, we include all our fees all together with the residency costs, with business costs, so on and so forth, so that there is no guessing on your point as to how much money do I actually need and what's it going to cost, especially if you're coming as a foreigner and don't have a bank account. It's going to be difficult to have access to money in order for you to do so, or make that money last before you open up a bank account. The second one is going to be your housing costs. So when you get a apartment or a house, one of those two, you're going to have a security deposit. Now, more often than not, a landlord is going to ask for first and last month's rent. Maybe they'll ask for 2 months ahead. However, one thing here in Serbia that you cannot control is what other people deem as reasonable. We've recently worked with a client that has come here, and we went and looked at a bunch of apartments for him to stay in and his wife as well. And one of the landlords, they said that they wanted 7 months advanced payment. So they wanted 6 months paid up front plus the deposit, which would be used towards their last month. And that was under a 1-year lease. Now, I personally think that 7 months paid up front is completely ridiculous. I also mentioned this to the client. I said, this is not reasonable, you know, especially because you don't know if you're going to jive with the individuals, and it's an unfurnished space. And so you're going to incur much more overhead on top of that, because you're going to have to furnish this with kitchen tables, utensils, plates, bedding, you name it, right? And so there was a huge step in that direction to actually move in there, and the client ended up not taking that on, and went on with looking at some other rentals that we went and looked at, which you know, was one thing you got to take into consideration when you move here is, you know, you're gonna have to compromise a little bit. It's gonna have to be you know, win some, lose some, depending on what the scenario is. And that's what we're here to help you with. Now, another thing that you're going to have to incur in Serbia, especially if you're working with a real estate agent, that not only goes for buying and selling a house, but if you're renting property as well and you're going through an agency, you're going to have to pay the agent commission, which is something completely foreign from what you would be used to in many of the other countries, where it's like, no, you should be getting paid by the owner that actually marketed your property. But here in Serbia, it's done a little bit differently, where you as a tenant are required to pay the agency's fee. And I don't make the rules, and don't shoot the messenger. I'm just letting you know. And so the other one, like I just mentioned, some places come unfurnished, and you may need furniture as well. So make sure if you're looking to rent a place that it's actually furnished if you need furniture. But if you come here with a little bit of capital, that you are able to go and purchase you know, the furniture that you need. And there's a lot of places here that do have delivery services here, and they'll actually set it up for you. Of course, it's not free, it's all for a fee. So make sure, depending on where you're going, if you're going to Lesnina, Amazeta, Forma Idela, they're all going to have their own services. So make sure you do your due diligence. Your other one is you're going to have high import taxes on your goods. So depending on what you're bringing in here, if you're bringing in cars, you're going to have to pay import duties and taxes that can increase the value or the cost, sorry, by 30 to 50%. Typically, if you're bringing in a vehicle that from another country, you're going to have to pay 30% taxes on that, of the value of the vehicle. But you know, if you work with us, we have a couple ways that we can work around that, but I'm not going to get into that here at this point in this video. Electronics as well, clothing and shoes, if you're doing international brands that are significantly marked up due to the import taxes and VAT. So if you're going to look at certain brands here in Serbia, certain computers, you know, smartphones, whatever it might be, you're going to pay substantially more. Like these microphones I bought, if I bought them here in Serbia, they're going to be about 700, 750 euros. However, I go to Canada or into the EU countries, they're going to be substantially less than if I were to buy here. And sometimes making that border run might be a little bit beneficial for you in order to save that type of money. Maybe just go on a weekend trip and bring it over here on your own. Number 4 is going to be your banking and financial costs. Now, sending money and exchanging money is going to cost you some money. So one of the things to make sure is, if you're sending money from another country into Serbia, that you ask your home bank where you're coming from, what is the way to send it into Serbia. If you have a bank account here in Serbia, the bank fees to have a bank account is not that expensive. However, if you're looking to pull out, say, USD and convert it into euros or dinars, don't do it at a bank, because in my opinion, and a lot of the people we talk about, they rip you off. Take out the currency, the USD that you have in your bank account, and go to what we call a Manjachnicas here, Manjachnica. They have them all over the place, or in English, it's called an exchange. they're going to give you a better rate for your money, and your money will go a long way, especially if you're doing hundreds or thousands of dollars. You're going to want to do it somewhere decent, right? That's going to give you the best bang for your buck. Transportation and car ownership, you're going to have registration fees, you're going to have road taxes. And what I mean by that is your registration fee is going to be done on a yearly basis. Road taxes is what I mean by tolls, right? We do have tolls here, especially the main highway that goes, say, from Novi Sad to Belgrade and down all the way down to Niš. They are toll roads. They're not that expensive, but that's one hidden cost that many people don't take into account. And then you're also going to have your fuel costs. In Serbia, we pay some of the highest prices in all of Europe for gas. It's about 189 dinars right now for a liter of gas. However, being that it's a very walkable area in Serbia, it's not too often that you're going to have to drive for hours and incur a lot of costs when it comes to gas. We don't drive massive 8 and 12 cylinder vehicles here. A lot of the vehicles are smaller and they're diesel, and so you'll get a lot more mileage on that as well. So keep that in mind. A lot of the Serbs will complain about that. But again, if you look at the other countries, which a lot of Serbs say, hey, look at all, Hungary, look at Romania, look at Croatia, their gas prices are way lower. Well, guess what? They're in the European Union. And if you don't want to be in the European Union, you're going to have to deal with some negative downside to that freedom that you have here without being tied to the European Union. And in my perspective, I would rather pay a little bit of a higher gas price than to be part of the European Union. But I digress. I'm not getting into politics on this video. Now, the sixth one and the second last one is going to be your education costs. So expats bringing their children into Serbia, you can put them into the public education system here. However, that's 100% Serbian spoken education. So a lot of them ask for what do they have when it comes to international schools here, or private schools. They have them in Belgrade and Novi Sad. That is it. If you look at going into a village, you're not going to have any luck there. If you're going down to Niš, you're not going to have anything there. So you're stuck between Belgrade and Novi Sad when it comes to international schools. And you're going to pay anywhere between 9 and 20,000 euros per year on the grade level that your child is in. And if you have two, well, you're going to have to pay 2 of those. One of the other options is that if your kid is coming here, that has 1 or 2 years left in schooling and you don't want to enroll them here and you want to finish them up in your current country, homeschooling's an option, and we have someone that we can put you in contact with when it comes to homeschooling, and it's all done online. You don't have to deal with driving anywhere, and so that you can live anywhere in Serbia and finish that education as well. And the final one is going to be your business and freelancing costs. You're going to have corporate taxes. You're going to have VAT. Your corporate taxes are at 15%. VAT is at 20%. You're going to have accounting services. You're going to have the setup of the business as well. Your digital signature card if you're setting up a corporation. Your attorney fees also. And if you don't have an office, you're going to look at co-working spaces or workspaces as well, which there are plenty of them in Belgrade, Novi Sad, and even Niš and Kragujevac is having some of those being developed as well. I'd like to know your thoughts of what are the costs that you've incurred that you are not expecting moving to Serbia, or how did you get away from some of these costs? Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.